We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. So welcome to the February 11, 2015 Board of Selectmen meeting. Call the meeting to order. We're going to wait for Mr. Durkee to arrive to talk about the snow and ice update and deficit spend. Warrant, everybody sign that. Minutes. Are there any changes on minutes?
Well, just something perhaps for clarity, but let's go find, if you want, page 4, maybe Mike, we got the statement in Mike about the last payment for the ladder truck. Was that true or false, Mike? Because I heard differently in finance, I think.
It was false. The last payment is July of 2016.
Oh, next year, okay. I thought it was
Just to
Yeah.
clarify, I mean,
Two more
that
payments.
was this.
That says what I said.
Yeah, so
It's
that's,
just, I looked at, I was thinking FY16,
yeah,
and I get confused with 2016.
that happens. So if, Mr. Chair, I would move to accept the minutes of the general meeting of 1/26/15 as written.
So, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, draft warrant for annual town meeting on Monday, May 4, 2015.
There's several new articles in here. And you can also see that 3 of the former articles have been deleted. Article 10, 12, and 14. Those are the revolving funds that the DOR had recommended not be continued.
So do we need to vote at the town meeting to discontinue them? Or no?
I have to get further information from the legal counsel, but I know we don't want to reauthorize them.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll find out if we have to actually rescind them.
Okay. What did we add here?
Okay, under, let's see, on page 4, after other post-employment benefit trust fund, I added, and these have not been discussed by the finance committee. They were reported out by the capital improvement committee to go forward with them, but there's been no further discussion on them. So you are familiar with the voting machines.
Right.
Capital improvement program voted to recommend that $15,000 be spent on thermal imaging cameras for the fire department. Then they also recommended that money be used to remove trees around the public safety building. We did have an incident this summer or fall when one of the tree branches fell and damaged one of the employees' cars.
Oh, wow.
We did, at that time, through the tree warden's budget, have some of the trees removed, but I don't think we've removed all of them that are necessary. Plus, it would work out in conjunction with the CIP program. Next year, we want to replace the fencing that goes around. There's fencing there now.
Yeah.
It's pretty
pretty
overgrown and beat up. So if we get rid of the trees and vegetation this year and then do the
They want to do chain link
fence,
again?
yeah, chain link fence.
Okay.
The school department is looking for replacement of the middle high school auditorium flooring. The CIP committee recommended that be funded, and as well as a steel exterior door at the middle high school.
All of the doors? Replace all of the doors?
No, this is just one.
50 grand?
That was the estimate we were given.
That was a steel door, $50,000.
Well, that includes installation.
That would be at the main entrance there?
No, it's not the main entrance, it's a auxiliary entrance. It's, I guess the sill is rotted out. So,
And that wouldn't come out of the school's maintenance budget?
that's up to Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen to decide.
Would finance say anything about that?
They haven't commented on any of these.
Okay. Can we get comment on them for the next meeting, before the next meeting? Are they meeting?
They're
next week?
meeting on the February 18th,
Okay.
so they'll.
That gives us enough time.
Yeah.
Can you ask them to give comment to these for us? And any people that want to support should probably give comment to theirs?
Yeah, their 18th meeting is more of a workshop for the newer members. I don't think they were going to take up they weren't going to take up the warrant, because the warrant doesn't close until the 23rd. So they were going to wait until the warrant closes before they
Oh, okay.
take up.
Yeah, make sure everything's in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine, as long as we've got, enough timeline, but I think everybody on the board would like to get feedback from the various
So if I may,
things.
Mr. Chair,
Sure.
that's, so there's four, is there funds to cover all four of these?
It's right, yeah, well, we'll have to we were looking at utilizing the free cash, plus there's about $60,000 in the capital fund as well. So these total up to, I think, $120,000.
And all that's in the fund at this point is six.
No, there's free cash, there's $350,000 in free cash right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got to make a decision what gets done with free cash, right?
Well, we have to decide, we have to reserve enough for snow and ice first.
Sure.
And that's, when you hear Peter tonight, we were thinking $200,000 would be enough to get us through a normal winter if free cash. That might not be the case any longer.
Right.
What do we budget, 104 as usual?
104.
Okay. So we may be north of 250 total probably for snow and ice this year?
Oh,
In the threes?
well, I think we're at 160 already.
Okay.
Peter's gonna
Wow.
give you the updated numbers.
So,
In deficit.
If I may continue, Mr. Chair, if it looks like we may not have the funds for these, would we want to send this back and want to know what is perhaps 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the eyes of the Capital Improvement Committee?
Mhm.
Because some of these may need to go, and my feelings, it would be better to know what they want as their first priority, second priority.
Okay. Can you make that, have them give us that read?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, on the door replacement, why was that not included in the improvements in the first place? Was there a reason why? Or was it discovered afterwards, or is it
Probably
not
the same
eligible?
ones they didn't, they might
I don't
be
think that would
eligible.
actually be eligible. but I don't know for a
It's
fact.
exterior door, we were
It's
doing
sort of
exterior
routine
work.
maintenance, perhaps, you know?
Well, the second question I had was, I thought we were passing these type of things through the actual budget itself. Remember we changed the process, you know, in the way in which we did these type of improvements, rather than coming straight from the CIP fund itself? Didn't we modify that procedure a while back, last budget cycle? Am I dreaming on that, or what?
I don't know if you're dreaming, but I know the school has become more and more reliant on free cash.
No, but the procedure, I thought,
There's no real policy statement on that, no?
yeah, I thought that we moved a lot of this through and passed this through the regular budget as maintenance. And used free cash at the end, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But this was a line item within the budget. If I remember correctly, we changed the procedure in which way we handled this. I thought, now, I'd have to talk
We
with FinCom.
used free cash to pay for the roof units.
Right.
Those were obsolescence, needed
Okay.
to be replaced.
All right.
So,
right.
no, there's no
I'll
real
talk with-
standing policy on that.
But one of the, in order to get the Mass School Building Authority behind us, they were supposed to help the school to create a maintenance, a proper maintenance program because of their lack of having one. And by coming back now, looking at these things, at capital improvement and hoping for free cash, doesn't sound like a proper maintenance program. Maybe it should go to Stu, you're on that. Do you know where they are with that part of it? I mean, that was one of the agreements that they had to come up with, and the Mass School Building Authority was supposed to help them create a better maintenance program.
Well, yeah, part of it was that we had to have a maintenance program
Right.
in place, which they've had a number of meetings, and I'm not fully up to speed on the latest meetings, but Mike, what was the last you heard on that?
We haven't met since the fall.
Okay. So that one probably needs to get fired up again, right? Because, you know, by the time we open the school, we need to have a maintenance program running.
Right, well, the plan was to have it in this budget. And unless it's already, you know, we haven't seen the school budget, I have to assume there is at least a school-wide maintenance plan. The last time I met with those involved, we were talking about doing building maintenance as it relates to HVAC, mechanical stuff in the buildings. We, on the town side, we're fine with our janitorial services. So, you know, that's how we left it. They were going to be hiring a HVAC person to oversee all the building's mechanical needs and maintenance, preventive maintenance and repairs. But I haven't heard anything since that fall meeting.
When's that next meeting? When's the next meeting?
For
Uh,
school building?
Yeah.
They had one last night,
Okay.
which I couldn't make, but it'll be, there might be one towards the end of the month if they need some things. 26th or 7th, I think it was, or it'll be another month,
Maybe I'll try to
early to mid.
go to one of them.
Can you reach back out to Carol and crew on that maintenance? Because we've got to have something firmly in
Yes.
place, obviously, for this budget year, this new budget.
Will do.
Thank you. Other additions, anything else on the end? Are we,
The last one.
Yes, actually, there was two others. The police chief, after the fire engine repair, on page 5, 2/3 down,
the academy?
yeah, he's looking for $4,150 for academy expenses for a new officer.
Good.
And I think the article underneath there, it's, right now it's a placeholder. I don't know if we discussed it last time, probably not. The finance
Yeah.
committee chair asked or suggests that we change the bylaw for membership of the finance advisory committee from 9 to 7. So we have rarely had 9 members, and it gives us that
Quorum issue.
quorum issue that a lot of committees have, so
Good.
it would lower our quorum count.
Mike, sorry, Gary, again. Any consideration to giving, making 2 alternate members instead? You know, like the other committees do? So that, just in case, you know, you kind of have people in the waiting, you know, at least you have those spots open.
Yeah, well, ironically, we do have 8 members right now.
Right.
But the chair has indicated her desire to resign at the end of this fiscal year, so we'll be back to 7.
Well, maybe you
Yeah.
can ask them if they would consider, you know,
Mhm.
9 to 7 with 2, you know, 9 members, 7 regular and 2 alternate.
Yeah, alternates are a great thing to have if you can get them.
Right. At least gives them that flexibility of having them.
If, just, we would certainly want the advice of the moderator on that.
Yeah, I would
think how she feels, I mean, and is, I guess that does fall under us, even though the moderator makes the appointments as to how many would be on the committee, but is there any legalities there that?
No, it's a bylaw change.
Okay, so it's a bylaw change.
Is there a state statute on that too, Mike, that says there's a minimum?
I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
And there is one other new one, it was suggested again by the police chief, and he's looking to amend the town bylaw, chapter 15, has to do with removal of dog waste from public property. And he's offering some changes. But to be honest with you, the changes aren't highlighted, so normally we strike out the removals and bold the additions, so I'll have to talk to the chief and see what the actual changes are.
Okay. Backing up under, on page 6, did you ever find out what this change for the accessory apartment means exactly?
No.
Can you find that out, or have Howard
Did
talk
they have
to us?
their public meeting on that? Did they have to have a public hearing? I think that was in February, I don't know if they had that or the first of the month.
Yeah, I mean, it could be as simple as Howard just sending you an email explaining how that change affects what we currently have. You know, is it to the better or not? Okay, any other questions?
Not at this time.
All right. Any questions on the special town meeting while we're on that topic? Well, we have Mr. Durkey here from the Highway Department, so good evening, sir.
Hello.
You guys have had a challenging season. I can tell you're a little tired. How you doing, Pete?
Good.
So what's our status?
Currently, we're over our 104,000 by $89,811. That does not include snow removal from last Friday night. I haven't received the bill for that yet, and it doesn't include this past storm. I haven't received the bills from the subcontractors for that.
I just passed out, I just got this from Mary this afternoon, and this is as of
You have that
before the weekend storm.
before this past week?
Yeah. I think Pete had, you only have the, you have the personnel cost for the weekend storm, right?
Yep. Like that 89 includes the town of Georgetown labor cost.
So.
So the only thing we're waiting for is the subcontractors for the storm Sunday into Monday and the snow removal for Friday night. But all the highway department's overtime, their pay is all included.
Good.
And they've worked 259 hours in 3 weeks.
It's been a hairy one.
Yeah, it's a lot of snow for a short period of time.
Sure is. So right now, we're at 171,382.86. Without this additional weekend stuff.
On that munis, I would say on my books, we're probably closer to 190
Okay.
because of the overtime for the Friday and or the last pay period.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we got that about 23,000
Okay.
to the minus 66,
Okay.
and that would get us up to 194,000 total.
Yeah.
and tomorrow's storm is like 1 to 2 inches, and they're worried about Saturday into Sunday now.
What's this Sunday look like? Because I'm supposed to be flying out. Yeah.
They're talking 6+, and they're talking it's going to be a lot more than 6.
Saturday night into Sunday, or? I'm changing my flight, huh?
So as it stands right now, let's call it, we're over 100,000 right now, right?
Right.
Roughly.
Yep. And I don't know if, the schools shoveling off the roof, if that included, if that gets included in snow and ice, so that will be even more money.
Does that typically get included, Mike?
We did that real bad winter,
Yeah.
and I think we were going to plan on doing it again.
Okay.
And as we finally here at the town hall found someone to shovel the entryways,
Yeah.
and I was planning on applying that towards snow and ice too.
Well, it looks like we're gonna need, to get us through the rest of the winter, we're looking at probably about $200,000 shift from.
Free cash.
Yeah, free cash to snow and ice. So
I
make it
want
about
to say the average
300,000.
is, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I want to say the average for the last 10 years is like 250,000.
That was, thank you, that was gonna be, well, not the average, but perhaps to know what was the least you spent in a year and how it compares to what we're budgeting. Because I know we've got some crazy things with once you go up on it, you
Yeah,
can't
you
go
catch
down.
back.
But we need to keep as realistic of a number as I think we can, so we're not always worrying
Well,
quite
I
so
know.
much about it.
Oxford's number is 77,000 for snow and ice.
But I mean,
And they
what's,
just plan on that.
let's say in the last 5 years, if we found out what was the least that we've spent and on a total, and how that compares to what we are budgeting.
I mean, I think if you look over the past 10 years and the average, that would be a pretty solid number,
Well, yeah, but then
From
if
a
you did have,
projection point of
a
view.
real light year, well, maybe
Well,
the
it would
average, maybe
factor
the
in.
average is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it would factor it in,
But
because
we-
one year we didn't even spend on, like 80, I don't think we even spent a
Yeah, my
couple years ago.
recommendation, let's stay at the 104.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no
You
problem
know,
with that.
you know,
Before the blizzard started, we had $54,000 left,
Yeah,
so, and then the blizzard ate it up, and,
yeah.
so you think we're looking around 350 by the time we're done?
well,
Yeah.
I wish it would stop.
Yeah, being realistic about it,
Yeah.
probably not, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I can't, the way it's going now with the weather, it's crazy. It's, every week there's a storm, and it's not 3 or 4 inches, it's
It's
feet.
significant, it's not melting, so it's
Yeah,
a good,
and then I watched the news before I came down. They were talking about, the small storm tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, then I'm looking on further into next week. And I saw one day 40-something degrees with rain, and that's not good.
No.
So, because, we have to go around and open up these catch basins, so
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of flooding.
Yeah,
The snow that people don't get off their roofs is gonna be a lot heavier now,
Right.
and it's not gonna be good. And then, looking into the future, this spring is not gonna be good, If there
Maybe a
might
wet
be
one.
a mailbox down, or a stone wall that was hit, or some bushes that have been ruined, this spring is not gonna be good. Because if it melts and, which it's going to, and there's gonna be flooding.
Yeah, the top of Canterbury doesn't look very good for the arborvitaes that were there,
Yeah.
and the guardrail, I bet you it's gone.
Well, the guardrail's probably just covered in snow,
Hope so.
and the arborvitaes, they may come back.
Yeah.
So, it's just, no place to put the snow.
there is nowhere to put it. It's crazy.
We're halfway
Okay.
through February, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah, and
Get
I'm
through
I'm
January.
hoping I don't have to clean the square again,
Right. Yeah.
And this sidewalk machine, it takes so long to do the sidewalks. We're looking into, purchasing another sidewalk machine and keep the old one, because we're not gonna get a lot of money for it anyways.
Hmm.
And it won't be this year. But we're looking to purchase one in the future to help speed things up, because it takes 3.5, 4 hours to do it with a V-plow in a small storm. When you get these large storms, it takes, tomorrow will be the 3rd day, and we may not get.
Does it get backed up because there's nowhere to push it? Is that why it's?
The V-plow, yeah, there's no, you can't use it over, a 6-inch storm.
Yeah.
And if you look now, every time we plow the road, it goes into the sidewalk, then we have to shoot the stuff out of the sidewalk, out into the woods and people's front yards. It is just, and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
It took 2 hours to get from Tenny Street to Dunkin' Donuts this morning.
Really?
Wow.
That's
It
crazy.
takes a long time.
Have you looked
Do you have
into
a
the
snow
National
blower?
Guard helping us out?
I
I know
think
they're
they're
out.
gonna go to the cities and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're not
Cities.
coming here.
Like.
Does that thing come with an attachment, a blower attachment?
It does have a snow blower.
Okay, so
And
you
it's a
can do either or.
two-stage. We're looking at, Havel has a couple different types, and I was gonna talk to Havel to see which one they like better. I'm looking at something, maybe a hydro, high flow. The one we have now, share pins break, it came back today, bolt broke. When it hits different things, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time, and you gotta take it back, shovel it out, and fix it back at the yard. The chain, breaks, so there's a lot of things that break. I think with the hydro, it won't break as much, and that's what we're looking into, but we'll still keep this one. You have to send 2 people out to do sidewalks, one to clear not just the intersections, but the driveways that are plowed.
Yeah.
That snow, we use a skid steer to bucket that out of the way,
Yeah.
so we can,
Okay.
go forward. And when they start snow blowing, the first thing they do is from the parking lot, or Dunkin' Donuts to Winter Street, and then from Winter Street to the parking lot, and then from Library Street, the backside of the parking lot, through Harry Murch Park. That way there, the kids can park at the parking lot and walk to school. People have to, give rides to kids, just give the kids a ride to school. Carol told me that if a bus sees somebody waiting at the end of the road and it's within walking distance, to pick them up.
Yeah, okay.
It is just, my guys came in Saturday night at 11 o'clock and didn't leave until Monday at 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
And then they came in the next morning at 7 and started the sidewalks.
Wow.
There was a 2-hour delay, so we had those sidewalks done that needed to be done to get people from the parking lot to the school. But, people have to understand it takes a long time. This will be their 3rd day tomorrow on sidewalks, and this is the 3rd time doing it with the snow blower.
Yeah.
And it takes, and it's the same 2 guys that go out and do it. It's just, it's a lot of snow.
Wow. Okay. So we have to take a vote on this, Mike, to deficit spend?
Yes.
And what I'll do, not to interrupt, but what I'll do is I'll try to give Mike an update each week as I get numbers in, as people give me bills, to give you guys a update sooner, because you meet every 2 weeks, but the way the storms are coming in.
Yeah, they're just
So,
one after another.
we're not putting a lot of material out. This past storm, we may have put out 2 trailer loads of sand, and that's over the whole town.
Yep,
And we may have put out 3 our-size sanders of salt,
Yeah.
just on the main roads.
yeah,
We have it down pretty good that the person with the wing puts the salt down and everybody else starts doing the back roads.
okay.
And he scrapes it, he can be out in the middle of the road where you want to put the salt, and then we can get it there pretty quick.
Okay.
So,
Is it a blanket? There's no number to it, right, Mike? It's just a blanket to just
No,
deficit
we've
spending?
done that one, definitely.
Right, yeah, it's just whatever costs you spend. And
So do we want to just follow up on what finance did last week of the 45,923, or what do we do?
Well, that was just the number we had at the time.
Right.
You're just saying, go ahead and, we know you're in deficit, go ahead and spend.
No number attached.
No.
So I make a motion that we allow the highway surveyor to deficit spend for snow and ice removal.
So move.
Second.
I thought we previously did this.
Okay.
I thought so too. That's why
Yeah,
What, earlier in
Yeah.
the previous
Season?
meeting? I don't believe we
I
did.
don't remember.
no, because we just started deficit spending
Okay.
after that blizzard.
You must have been at the same FinCom.
Yeah,
We
you
did
probably
it
at the FinCom meeting.
Yeah.
okay.
That's
maybe
probably what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting my.
They're all blending
I made the motion and Gary seconded it.
No, I seconded it.
Well, I made the motion.
Oh, yeah, he said so moved.
You seconded it, right, Gary? You
I
seconded it.
believe I did second
Yeah,
it.
He said so moved. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right,
I'll get it to Gary.
All right,
I have the numbers, by the way, of
Snow.
what we've spent for the last 5 or 6 years.
Did you tell me about this number?
Oh, yes. Oh, that.
Last year, we spent $344,000 on snow removal in FY14. In 13, we spent $161,000. In 12, we spent $144,000. In 11, we spent
That was
$502,000.
the big year.
yeah. Ouch.
And then in 10, we spent 213, and in 09, we spent 335.
Okay,
And we budget 104,
yeah,
and so the lowest is 144.
yeah,
Correct.
okay. I'd be curious about, yeah.
Are we in danger of not having enough money to fund it?
That's.
Well, here's something that I didn't bring up. That blizzard, we filled out the initial reports for FEMA.
You gonna get some money back?
We're hoping, because the last time we had a blizzard, we filled out paperwork and we got 65,000 back. The numbers were higher than that storm. It was 85,000 just for the highway department. I know Don put in numbers of 104, including the schools, the fire department, the police department.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's no way they can't give us money with all this snow that we've received up here. And, you know, I was told that snow blowers from Maine were coming down to help out. They were, you know, on 95 going toward Maine, and the governor was talking about all these other states coming to help out.
Right.
And
But how do we get in line to get some of that help? That's,
I think it's gonna go to the cities.
It's gonna go to
first.
the cities.
You know,
bigger
they are in
towns.
tough shape. I mean, there's not a road here that's not passable.
Right.
In the city, there's roads that you can't get down.
cars
Yeah.
are buried.
I mean, they can't even, yeah, they got nowhere to put snow right now in the city.
Well,
All right,
The problem is with that, the FEMA money, we won't probably see it till next
Yes.
fiscal year.
right.
I think that as to what Dave, the statement you just made, I mean, if we're funding originally too low, and we have a year where we don't have a lot of free cash, then we're gonna be hitting the stabilization fund, I guess, for this. I mean, where would it?
We'd have to, right?
I don't know what some of these cities and towns, I know Beverly is $1 million over their budget,
Mhm.
and they're still hauling snow out of Beverly.
At the point, though, we only have 350,000 available free cash, right?
That's correct.
And we have 104. You had a year there, it was 500,000.
Yeah.
Could we run up to 500,000, Pete?
I'm hoping we don't.
Yeah,
So,
well,
it depends on the weather.
Yeah.
And
So do the math, we're
It's
100.
still early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we may have to dip into the stab fund for
Yeah.
it. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, by the time we get to closing the warrant, we'll know if we got
Yeah.
anything left. I mean,
Well,
if it keeps on this
then-
trend, we're screwed, you
You
know?
know, if it's right and it turns to 40-something next week, you know, that's definitely a change in the weather pattern.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully, knock on wood, I know none of my guys want to see another snowflake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't want to see rain really quick.
No,
either.
no.
Rain's just gonna plug us up.
I mean, I got out of work yesterday, I shoveled my neighbor's roof off, the back of my roof, it's just, you know, there's gonna be issues. The light department came over today and took the bottom 10 feet on each side of the highway department's roofs. There was one spot that was building up with icicles, and they knocked all that down on one side. It's just one side or two of each building, and they came over and did that. And, you know, we work well with the light department.
Yeah.
So,
They brought the
Yep.
cherry picker over.
and they just had the snow rakes, and they just pulled off the last 10 feet to help it. And so it's huge. So, I mean, there's so many people, we have our contract with Granite State Minerals, which is up in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I call them up all the time and said, I need salt. And they go, well, we can't get it to you. In Sam's Transportation, which is in town, they can haul out of there. There's, you know, Sam's Transportation can haul out of either salt yard. And they don't just let anybody haul out of it. You have to be like okay to haul out of there. And they come by there all the time. I call the owner up and says, I got 6 loads on the ground, can you pick them up? And I'm getting them that night. And a lot of people aren't getting the salt, you know, like they need it.
Why? Because they don't have the material?
It's weird up there. They don't work over past 5 o'clock. They work like 7 to 5. They don't work weekends. And, you know, Eastern Minerals, when we out of Chelsea, I could call them up right now and there'd be trucks coming at night. It doesn't matter. They're hauling 24/7.
Oh.
And I can't believe it before storms either. It's just, but when I don't think they have a shortage, they just can't get it delivered.
Yeah.
But it works out great with Sam's.
Yeah.
The subcontractors that we have are, you know, the owner of Dorenzo said, you probably have the best fleet in the North Shore. I said, I think we have the best fleet in the state, except for maybe Brockton, because he takes care of Brockton too.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's not a snowstorm that I'm worried about. You know, one thing good about these snowstorms, it's been the light fluffy stuff. If it's heavy wet, we might as well just park the pickup trucks, because they're not gonna move it.
Yeah, no, that's what I was
And,
saying the other day.
You know, a business owner from downtown came to my office today and said, if you need to put snow in my back parking lot, you know, you're welcome to it, which is a good thing, because now we can use the machine to bucket it from the square just because it's closer.
Yeah, Okay.
It's, you know, there's a lot of people helping out, and,
good.
you know, I should probably make a list and sometime at another meeting,
Well,
you know, how
yeah, let's recognize
how
them.
good we have it in this
Absolutely.
town. So,
Yeah, and to you and your crew and you know, police, fire, electric, water,
you
really just great efforts and everything's been running really smoothly, so
Mr. Chairman,
appreciate it.
one of the issue is that, so that the townspeople understands, those that live on private roads, if your road's not plowed and there's an emergency, Peter's monitoring the frequency of the fire department, the police department, all one, and a plow will come up with the fire department, the police department if there's an
probably
emergency.
before. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's, all my guys have the radios, and they know, like, my brother had a heart attack last year, and the person in that area plowed that road, and I didn't even know the house number, and I went up there to go plow the driveway. It was already done, but it was my brother's driveway.
Wow,
2 years ago,
I didn't know that.
Tim Howard's dad had a medical issue, his driveway wasn't plowed, there was probably this much snow in the driveway, and they would've had to take the stair chair and hump through the snow, and it would've taken a long time to do that, and I just plowed the driveway so they could get up there. They backed the ambulance literally right up to the door.
Good.
So, you know, that's what we're there for, and we're gonna do whatever we have to, and there's plenty of equipment in town to get it done.
Good.
There was a chimney fire the other day, and we had the hydrant shoveled out before the fire department got there. So,
Excellent.
it's, you know, we have people out everywhere,
Good.
so.
Well done, and I know everybody's exhausted, but keep up the great work. You guys really doing an excellent job, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Have a good night.
pray for no more snow.
Yeah.
It's out of control. All right, Mike, is there anything else on number 5 that we wanted to talk about? This is the
No,
guidelines?
No.
Okay, for spring and annual, define the purpose.
Oh, the guidelines?
Yeah, number 5, just define the purpose of spring and annual town meeting. Spring annual town meeting and fall town meeting.
Yeah, you know, I gave you that
Yeah, the X list.
grid. I basically reduced it to a very simple policy. I don't know if I oversimplified it. Basically, I said the purposes of a special town meeting are to deal with emergencies and actions that the selectmen deem are necessary to ensure the orderly business of the town. Actions requiring the appropriations of tax dollars, the approval of bonds, or the adoption/amendment of bylaws should be reserved for the annual town meeting.
Yeah. Operative word should be rather than shall be.
Right.
Okay. Any comments, gentlemen?
I've just seen it, but I mean, it looks good and clean, and,
Yeah, I think it's very succinct. I think it reflects the intent,
I mean,
but doesn't tie your hands.
Could we put something in there that the selectmen reserve the right to, include, I don't know, any issue, if they deem it's an emergency at either meeting? So that we're not, we have the ability to do the emergency piece of it. Where this is
Well,
specific, this means
it
the
does-
emergency, the purpose of a special town meeting. Okay, all right, you know what, I see it there.
Yeah.
I missed that, okay.
I mean, like I said, whenever possible,
Right.
get that wording in there, so.
And then at the very end, it's the should versus the shall, you know what I mean?
The bottom line is, unless we had a charter that went beyond the Mass General laws, charters trump that. If you can be more strict
Okay.
than the general law, but we don't have that. So the general law controls in this case. And if somebody wanted to petition a special meeting, they could, whatever they want to have on that article, on that warrant, it's
For a special town meeting.
it could be anything if they have the signatures.
I think if I may, I mean, for me, it just sort of states that that's what the special town meeting is about, that we don't always need one, because some people, I think, we're starting to get the feeling that we're gonna every year have two meetings, and if that second one isn't needed for the budgetary purposes that we've been doing, then I feel we should do our best not to have it. It's a cost saver.
Yep.
And, so, I realize sometimes it is difficult to do because of when we get the budget from the state, we don't always know everything in the springtime for going forward, but, I mean, it was 2 years ago that we didn't have to have it, correct? I mean, we were able to skip that one.
Yeah, I like it, I think it's.
You guys want to take a vote on it tonight?
Sure. I'll make a motion that we accept the policy statement regarding special town meeting along with the town meeting warrant guidelines as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Good job, Mike.
Yeah, good.
Glad that we got that kind of cleaned up a little bit. I think the intent's there and it's got the flexibilities as well.
How long did it take us?
6 months.
But this was one of the.
The wheels of government
Yeah, we
grind
can check
very
that out.
So there's another check off of the DOR list.
Oh, like
Well,
the
like, for
One
me,
may making progress on that
But
list.
Gary, before the DOR, Gary's been on this.
I know,
Yeah.
I think for me.
Congratulations, you got it done.
Yeah, we got something to do. Yeah. It's the timeline, it's like, you know, Wednesday and that finance meeting and then wanting to know why the, what's that other board of law?
The CIP.
CPC.
Oh, CPC?
Yeah,
CPC, right?
you know, why we haven't finalized. I mean, we have a calendar, just like many others, this is how we go, and this,
Yeah.
but we probably do need to be a little ahead of where we are for this. And, you know, finance was a little, how are they gonna go over there? They were planning to go over warrant articles, but not everybody has warrant articles finalized. And I think that's where we need to me, that's the biggest part that we need to work at. And the sooner we can get these warrant articles finalized, the earlier it's gonna be better. So we're not there at that last hour, going
Yeah, I mean,
over
we
things
could-
like we are every year.
Is there a mass general law that says when you need to close the warrant by, generally, or not?
Number of days,
Yeah.
How far out from the
Well, the warrant has to be posted
2 weeks?
for a special, 2 weeks before, and for an annual 1 week before.
Okay. So, I mean, if we open the warrant early, so we could just say, look, it's gonna be open January 2nd to, you know, in theory, to February
You know, Mike gave us some
15th
guidance.
maximum, you know what I mean? Yeah.
He did.
And then
Yeah,
get
we-
people
we-
in.
We have a written policy statement that it's open for 6 weeks,
Mhm.
starting the first meeting in January and 6 weeks after.
Okay, so,
I think it's more conversing with everybody, you know.
Well, getting everybody
It's-
to put their
like
stuff in.
CPC, if finance wants it by a certain date, then CPC needs to know that ahead of time so that we
Yeah.
can get our calendar on board with everybody else's. I think that's sort
Yeah.
of that's the work that I see that we need to do that will just help move it along, that everybody knows what's in front of them.
yeah, Mike, you wanna think about that and make some recommendations just to, how do we streamline it and get everybody on the same page a little more effectively with a decent streamlined timeline so that we can,
Yeah,
we can get people in line and get everything done.
the warrant. You just, if they don't get it in by the end of the 6-week period, it's,
No, I know, but then that typically turns into a forced Springtown or a special town meeting issue at some point. You know what I mean?
well, if they know they have to have it done by the second week in February, they start in the first week of September. You know, whatever needs to be done.
See, I think it's because in the past, a lot of things have been done as placeholders. And we put that in as a placeholder. And that's, to me, is one of the things we need to clear up. We need to get them in, not just get them in as placeholders.
All right, I got a crisis at home I gotta get attended to. Can we adjourn this meeting? Sorry,
Yeah.
I got kids at home alone and I gotta, so I gotta.
All right, motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Our next meeting will be February 23rd at 6:30. Thank you all, have a great night.